Why so silent, good monsieur?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most entertaining songs performed by antagonists in live-action movies. We're not including anti-heroes since they deserve a list of their own.
All we ask is ein bisschen Verständnis, a little understanding.
Number 30, Brush Up Your Shakespeare, Kiss Me Kate.
Is the poet people call the Bard of Stratford-on-Avon.
Kiss Me Kate follows two divorced thespians who find themselves acting in a musical version of Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. As you might guess, the events of the movie itself turn into a reimagining of the famous play. Gangster duo Slug and Lippy may not feature in the original, but they make their mark on this retelling.
And if still to be shocked she pretends well, just remind her that all's well that ends well. Brush up your Shakespeare, and they'll all kowtow.
The two heavies are hired to collect a gambling debt from leading man Fred, but it's nothing personal. They're just doing their job. They even find time to give some relationship advice. Brush Up Your Shakespeare is an entertaining duet, featuring clever wordplay and performed with roguish charm.
And they'll all kowtow. Thinks thou? And they'll all kowtow. I trow. And they'll all kowtow. I'm watching.
Number 29, One More Angel in Heaven, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Father, we've something to tell you, a story of our time.
Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice's colorful musical transforms the biblical story of Joseph into an imaginative journey through an array of musical styles. Joseph's jealous brothers get a few tunes between them, including a calypso-style number and a French-inspired ballad. However, it's One More Angel in Heaven that really shows off their villainous credentials.
Joseph will never forget you. It's tough, but we're gonna get by.
After selling their sibling into slavery and faking his death, the brothers return to their father to break the bad news. Reuben takes the lead, spinning a farcical tale of Joseph's final hours. Darkly comic with country western stylings, it's a fun bit of dramatic irony ending in a full-on hoedown. Number 28, Stepsisters' Lament, Cinderella. There are some great songs in this rendition of the classic fairy tale, and the stepsisters get one of the catchiest.
Her neck is no longer than a swan. She's only as dainty as a daisy. She's only as graceful as a bird. So why is the fellow going crazy?
Natalie Desselle and Vianne Cox are a great comic foil to Brandy's sugar-sweet Cinderella. Their lament could be straight out of a pantomime. It's suitably petty and very funny too. The duet is just too catchy to let go.
Why would a fellow want a girl like her? A girl who's merely lovely. Why can a fellow ever once prefer a girl who's merely me?
We also can't ignore Bernadette Peters' scene-stealing turn as the wicked stepmother. She puts a bitter spin on a lovelorn ballad from another Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, resulting in another fantastic villain song, Falling in Love with Love.
I fell in love with love everlasting. But love fell out with me.
Number 27, I'm Just Ken, Barbie. Ken surprised us all by becoming the main antagonist of the Barbie movie. Like many of the best villains, he almost stole the show.
Doesn't seem to matter what I do, I'm always number two. No one knows how hard I tried.
After taking a trip to the real world, Barbie's boyfriend discovers the patriarchy and returns to Barbieland ready to rally his fellow Kens. But the Barbies fight back, resulting in an existential crisis for the Kens and their leader.
Anywhere else I'd be a 10. Is it my destiny to live and die a life of blonde fragility?
I'm Just Ken is one of the movie's best bits, and Ryan Gosling really gives it his all, impressing with both his vocal and comedic talents. The tune was even nominated for an Academy Award, and Gosling's live performance was a highlight of the ceremony.
I'm just Ken, and I'm enough, and I'm great at doing stuff. So hey, check me out, yeah, I'm just Ken.
Number 26, Whatever Lola Wants, Damn Yankees.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. And little man, little Lola wants you.
You might be surprised to learn this familiar tune originated as a villain song in the musical Damn Yankees. The movie's take on the tale of Faust follows Washington Senators fan Joe, who sells his soul to Satan for the chance of victory for his team. Gwen Verdon reprised her stage role as Lola for the film.
Hello, Joe. It's me.
Her character is a servant of the devil, sent to entice the hero with the aid of feminine wiles and Bob Fosse's choreography. Her sultry solo, written by Richard Adler and Jerry Ross, became the movie's most memorable moment.
I always get what I aim for, and your heart and soul is what I came for.
Number 25, Meet the Plastics, Mean Girls.
My name is Regina George, and I am a massive deal.
The Mean Girls remake was met with lukewarm reviews by critics and audiences, but it justified its existence thanks to a serious star turn from Renee Rapp. Rachel McAdams was iconic as the original leader of the Plastics, but Rapp remakes Regina George in her own image. Her musical introduction tells us all we need to know about the character.
I don't care who you are. I don't care how you feel.
The satirical lyrics are sharp, funny, and totally over the top. Rapp has the charisma to carry them off and make us believe that Regina would rule the school. In the reprise, World Burn, she reminds us of her power and really gets to show off her vocals. Number 24, Gaston, Beauty and the Beast. Gaston is the kind of musical number that made us believe Beauty and the Beast would make a great live-action musical.
Everyone's awed and inspired by you, and it's not very hard to see why.
It's a raucous drinking song with plenty of room for dancing and spectacle. It also places the villain front and center, revealing that despite his brutality and his shallow nature, he's adored by the villagers. This comes in useful later on, when he rallies the mob for another great villain song.
Call it war, call it threat. You can bet they all will follow, for in times like this they'll do just as I say.
In the 2017 film, Gaston is played by Luke Evans, while Josh Gad is his singing sidekick LeFou. The dastardly duo are perfect for their roles, and you can just tell that they're having loads of fun.
Say it again. Who's a man among men? Who's a super success? Don't you know? Can't you guess? Has his plans and his five-hangers on.
Number 23, Marley and Marley, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Your chains are forced by what you say and do.
So have your fun when life is done. A nightmare waits for you.
In Charles Dickens' famous festive tale, Scrooge was visited by 4 spirits on Christmas Eve. In the Muppets version, it's 5, thanks to the casting of Statler and Waldorf as Scrooge's former business partners. Every tune in The Muppet Christmas Carol is a banger. We also love Scrooge's introduction, but Marley and Marley has everything you could want from a villain song.
We specialized in causing pain, spreading fear and doubt. And if you could not pay the rent, we simply threw you out.
The heckling Marley Brothers sing Scrooge a musical warning that will make adults laugh and very possibly give the kids nightmares. Paul Williams' lyrics provoke both thoughts and chuckles, while the whole atmosphere is wonderfully spooky.
Marley and Marley. Whoa! We're Marley and Marley. Whoa! Say
Number 22. Poor Unfortunate Souls, The Little Mermaid.
I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch.
The live-action version might not live up to the 1989 classic, but Poor Unfortunate Souls would be a great song in any context. The style is an intoxicating mix of Broadway and burlesque. It's a perfect fit for the Sea Witch, whose original characterization is said to be inspired by the drag queen Divine. Ursula's solo is a seductive sales pitch, glamorizing the life she could offer Ariel and minimizing the cost.
Yes, I've had the odd complaint, but on the whole I've been a saint to those poor unfortunate souls.
Howard Ashman's lyrics are whip-smart and wryly funny. Melissa McCarthy pays homage to the vaudevillian panache of the Pat Carroll original, while also putting her own stamp on the material.
Got some depth and now I got a boys. The boss is on a roll.
Number 21. Reviewing the Situation, Oliver.
And now I'd be the first one to say that I wasn't a saint. I'm finding it hard to be really as black as they paint.
Lionel Bart's classic musical softened the character of Charles Dickens' Fagin. It turned him from an out-and-out villain into a lovable rogue, and ironed out some of the more problematic elements of his characterization.
When I see someone rich, both my thumbs start to itch. Only to find some peace of mind, I have to pick a pocket or two, you.
There's no denying Fagin's still a bad guy, but he's also the best bit of the movie, and can boast 3 of the show's best songs. Pick a pocket or two might be the catchiest, but Reviewing the Situation is Fagin's monologue.
I think I better think it out again.
So where shall I go? Somebody! Who do I know? Nobody.
The audience gets a glimpse into the inner workings of his wicked mind as he weighs his options. Is it time to go straight, or should he continue to smile and be a villain?
The situation, I'm a bad un, and the bad un I shall stay. You'll be seeing no transformation, but it's wrong to be a rogue in every way.
Number 20. A Professional Pirate, Muppet Treasure Island. Tim Curry as Long John Silver in a Muppet movie? It's a recipe for success. The recipe wouldn't be complete without a villain song, and thankfully, a professional pirate marks the spot.
Though you could be a doctor, or perhaps a financier. My boy, why not consider a more challenging career?
The only downside is that it's Mr. Silver's only number. Whereas Jim sees pirates as irredeemable murderers, Silver and his crew have a different perspective. This is reflected through the jolly lyrics and upbeat melody reminiscent of a classic sea shanty.
It's how you look at buccaneers that makes them bad or good. And I see us as members of a noble brotherhood.
The song captures the camaraderie, pride, and thirst for adventure that come with being a pirate, practically convincing the audience to enlist. And since Silver's crew has a member named Black-Eyed Pea, he naturally gets a solo.
I could have been a contender.
Carried by Curry's unmatched charisma and the Muppets' satirical wit, it is definitely a contender. Number 19. Every Little Piece, Pete's Dragon. With a top hat, a goatee, and devious name, Dr. Terminus makes it no secret to the audience that he is the bad guy. Of course, the lack of subtlety is part of what makes this villain so fun.
Think of what a dragon heart would bring, wrapped up in a ribbon and a string.
Along with his assistant Hoagie, Terminus plots to slice Pete the Dragon up and sell him piece by piece for an enormous profit. Geez, when you think about it, this is actually a pretty gruesome plan. But the song appropriately keeps in tune with the film's lighthearted tone.
I'll bind him up, grind him up, lop him up, chop him up. Can't you hear that jingle jangle sound? Oh yeah!
The number conveys just how much Terminus enjoys being wicked, practically salivating over every dragon part and every pound of money. Terminus and Hoagie are like two kids in a candy store. Or a severed dragon parts store in this case.
It's money, money, money by the money, money, money by the pound, money by the money, money, money.
Number 18, Bad Guys, Bugsy Malone. Director Alan Parker's debut feature takes an original approach to the gangster genre, casting an ensemble of child actors against a prohibition backdrop. Bugsy Malone combines the grit of a mob picture with the charm of an elaborate school play. The music of Paul Williams also strikes just the right chord, particularly Bad Guys.
We made the big time, malicious and mad. We're the very best at being bad.
Life could have taken Fat Sam Stacchetto's gang down many routes, but crime was their natural calling. With a spring in every step and every lyric, the song finds the middle ground between being a wise guy and being a smartass, demonstrating how going bad can feel so good.
With all the talent we had, with little practice, we made every blacklist. We're the very best at being bad.
By the end, though, you may find that these bad guys are not so rotten after all. Maybe they just need a little love. Number 17, The Inquisition, History of the World Part 1. Not many would think to center a lavish musical number around an organization as infamous as the Spanish Inquisition, but if there's one thing Mel Brooks is known for, it's tackling taboo subject matter with a smile.
Let's begin the Inquisition. Look out, Sam. We have a mission to convert the Jews.
The Inquisition borrows notes from the likes of Busby Berkeley and Esther Williams, although the setting is grimier than what you'd usually see in one of their pictures. The torture devices are cleverly integrated into the choreography, as painful as they may look.
I said pretty please. I bent their ears, now I'll work on their knees.
The shocking imagery is balanced out by the irony that Brooks himself is Jewish, and the true target of ridicule is the Inquisition. The Inquisition, fortunately, isn't here to stay, but this tune will not be leaving your head anytime soon. Number 16, Slick, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Many would describe Scott Pilgrim as an underrated comedy and comic book adaptation. We'd go as far as to say that it's also an underrated musical. Even if it doesn't quite fall under that genre, music plays an integral role. Performed by Matthew Patel, one of Ramona's 7 evil exes, this song gives Scott a taste of the insanity he'll have to endure to be with his dream girl.
If you want to fight me, you're not the brightest.
Keeping with the film's video game theme, you could totally imagine a song like this popping up in a boss battle. Slick also wouldn't feel out of place in a Bollywood number.
My demon hipster chicks. Tell me, Maddie. I'm talking the dark, 'cause I know I'm slick.
Patel may have fireballs and vampiric backup dancers, but Scott proved slicker in combat. We just wish all the other exes got a song. Number 15, Stars, Les Misérables.
Out in the darkness.
While not everyone is a fan of Russell Crowe's singing voice, Stars remains a pivotal number in the stunning adaptation of Les Misérables. Crowe plays Javert, a police inspector hell-bent on recapturing Jean Valjean. This understated song provides greater insight into his obsession. In Javert's eyes, Jean Valjean is a fugitive following in Lucifer's footsteps. Meanwhile, Javert views himself as a righteous man carrying out God's will. Looking down on the city from a steep ledge, he vows to put Jean Valjean back behind bars.
On the doorway to paradise, that those who falter and those who fall must pay the price.
Throughout the film, Javert begins to see that matters aren't so black and white. Once his ethics are called into question, however, he isn't sure how to live with himself.
Shall his crimes be reprieved?
Number 14, I Want You, She's So Heavy, Across the Universe. Directed by Julie Taymor, this This jukebox musical interprets several Beatles songs through a unique lens. For example, John Lennon wrote I Want You for Yoko Ono. In the film, the song goes from a man longing for a woman to Uncle Sam wanting to enlist Max.
I want you. I want you so bad.
With the draft still in effect, it doesn't matter what Max wants. It goes to show that music can take on numerous different meanings. The same can be said about figures like Uncle Sam.
I want you so
To many, he's a symbol of strength and inspiration. To a reluctant draftee under the influence like Max, he's a horrifying poster child for war. The nightmare fuel just keeps coming as Max is confronted by stone-faced army recruiters on a conveyor belt of madness. Number 13, Just the Two of Us. Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Hit it! This is a very sensitive subject.
Dr. Evil hates Austin Powers about as much as he adores Mini-Me. In this scene, the Doctor celebrates his archenemy's capture while also embracing his pint-sized clone. As a follow-up to their One of Us piano duet, Dr. Evil and Mini-Me perform a rendition of Just the Two of Us. Parodying Will Smith's 1997 version, Dr. Evil raps about his relationship with his son Scott. Unlike Will Smith, though, Dr. Evil isn't exactly proud of his boy. As a matter of fact, Scotty's only second best compared to Mini-Me. The number showcases the villain's eccentric side, while also delving into his complicated family life. Plus, who knew Mini-Me could hit such a low note?
You and I.
Number 12, Beelzebos, The Final Showdown. Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny. This is an epic villain song worthy of an epic final showdown. This comedy builds to a literal battle of the bands between our heroes and Satan, who is cleverly played by legendary rocker Dave Grohl.
We challenge you to a rocker. Give us one chance to rock your socks off.
Tenacious D has their work cut out for them, as Satan has reclaimed the Pick of Destiny. Satan puts the pedal to the heavy metal with his drums, a guitar, and profanity in spades. He may have the powers of hell, but Tenacious D's music is full of soul. This still isn't enough to save Cage from a dismal fate, but Jabel's guitar is. Knocking off part of Satan's horn, the Prince of Darkness is dragged back to hell. Now that is what we call an epic final bow. Number 11, I Want It Now, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. We know the internet has unofficially dubbed Grandpa Joe this film's true villain, but I've Got a Golden Ticket just doesn't strike us as a villain song. I Want It Now, on the other hand, matches Veruca Salt's antagonistic nature to a T.
I want my geese to lay gold eggs for Easter.
It will, sweetheart.
At least 100 a day.
Anything you say.
By the way...
What?
The song has become something of an anthem for bratty children, and let's be honest, bratty adults. We've all met somebody spoiled to the core who demands instant gratification. As obnoxious as those people can be, Veruca's signature song doesn't become annoying, at least not to the audience.
I want today. I want tomorrow. I want to wear 'em like braids in my hair, and I don't want to share 'em.
This is thanks to the inviting set design, the humorous lyrics, and actress Julie Dawn Cole, who filmed the scene on her 13th birthday. Of course, nobody's complaining when Veruca gets the shoot.
Don't care how I want it now.
Number 10, Tomorrow Belongs to Me, Cabaret. Out of context, Tomorrow Belongs to Me may not sound like a villain song. On its own, you might be tricked into thinking that it's an uplifting tune about today's youth building a better tomorrow.
The sun on the meadow is summery warm. The stag in the forest runs free.
Watching Cabaret, all seems innocent enough as a youthful voice is heard and others watch in delight. Once it's revealed that the singer is wearing a Hitler Youth uniform, the song immediately goes from happy to horrifying. What's even more disturbing is what almost everyone in attendance, children included, begins to proudly sing along. To them, Hitler isn't a monster, but a triumphant leader. For modern audiences, it can feel like gazing into a parallel universe. Unfortunately, this song accurately mirrors one of the darkest chapters in human history.
You still think you can control them?
Number 9. Little Girls. Annie. Whichever adaptation of Annie you prefer, most would agree that you cannot top Carol Burnett as Miss Agatha Hannigan. Burnett showcases why she was born for this role through her performance of Little Girls.
Little girls, everywhere I turn, I can see them.
Cruel and constantly drunk on the job, Hannigan isn't fit to run an orphanage. Yet Burnett's comedic timing makes the character lovable and even relatable, especially to anyone who's ever had to look after a couple of hyperactive children.
If I ring little necks, surely I would get an acquittal.
We could tell through the song that Hannigan is at her wit's end. Drinking everything in sight and fantasizing about a life without little girls is her only escape. We can't think of an image that sums up Hannigan better than a bathtub of booze, which she uses a paddle to mix. Number 8. The Legend of Miss Baltimore Crabs. Hairspray. Velma Von Tussle is a villainess that's stuck in the past, fighting change around every corner.
Step back and turn. Front step, cha-cha-cha. Tammy Sharper.
During an audition for the Corny Collins show, she isn't at all impressed with the turnout. In a skillfully choreographed number, Velma remembers the good old days when she was crowned Miss Baltimore Crabs.
But how times have changed. These girls must be blind or completely deranged. But time seemed to halt when I was Miss Baltimore Crabs.
Along with her daughter and a few other mean girls, she shuns the contestants for their appearances. Tracy is ultimately kicked out for her views on integration, demonstrating just how backwards Velma's mindset is. Velma might be a horrible human being, but we'd be lying if we said this song didn't make us want to do the cha-cha-cha.
This one will never get a date in those hand-me-down clothes.
Kid, she'll never get a date till Daddy buys her a new nose.
Number 7. Last Midnight. Into the Woods. This adaptation of Stephen Sondheim and James Lapine's classic musical interprets various fairy tale characters from a unique perspective.
You're not good, you're not bad, you're just nice. I'm not good, I'm not nice, I'm just right.
While Meryl Streep's witch is essentially your basic antagonist, the other characters aren't necessarily good or bad. As the witch puts it, they're just nice. Everyone here makes mistakes, amounting to happy endings that aren't all that happy.
You'll just do what you do, it's almost midnight.
Rather than taking responsibility for their own actions, however, they blame the witch, who arguably did start the chain of events. This sets the stage for a rousing number where the witch decides to embrace her wicked side. As the ultimate mic drop, she places a curse on our supposed heroes before disappearing underground.
And the doom and the
Number 6. Cell Block Tango. Chicago. Granted, the 6 inmates behind this rousing song are not necessarily villains. Most of them have blood on their hands, though, and it is debatable if their actions were justified. As far as they're concerned, their victims had it coming.
He only had himself to blame. If you'd have been there, if you'd have seen it, I bet you would have done the same.
Sex squish. Cicero. Shits.
Chicago blends the glamour of the stage with harsh reality. Few sequences pull this off as flawlessly as Cell Block Tango, as Roxy envisions prison chatter through a theatrical lens. Using minimal props, the choreography paints a vivid picture of every story.
So that night when he came home from work, I fixed him his drink, as usual. You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic.
The only one who claims innocence is Catalin Hunyak Holinsky, who ironically meets the grimmest fate. It all builds to an electrifying finale in this masterclass of lighting, cinematography, production design, and editing. This number is so much fun, it should be a crime.
Pop. 6. Squish. Cicero. Lip shits.
Number 5. Pretty Women. Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. Judge Turpin is the most despicable person in this musical, wrongfully imprisoning Benjamin Barker, assaulting his wife, and caging up his daughter like a bird. Of course, this film's titular character isn't exactly a saint either. In this chilling scene, both men come together and sing about their monstrous plans.
And who, may it be said, is your intended, sir?
I would.
Unaware that Sweeney Todd is Barker, Turpin dreams of forcing Joanna into marriage. All the while, Todd prepares to slit his enemy's throat.
Pretty women sitting in the window.
As dark as the subject matter is, the song is hauntingly calm and even soothing. As Todd's razor grows closer to Turpin's neck, though, the melody becomes more and more heart-pounding, until we reach the final curtain.
Pretty women, yes, pretty women, oh, pretty women.
I've seen Joanna and she said she'd leave with me tonight.
Number 4. Feed Me. Get it? Little Shop of Horrors. A truly great villain can corrupt even the most innocent souls. The kindly Seymour Krelborn is taken aback upon realizing that his plant, Audrey 2, can talk. With a deep, booming voice, Audrey 2 demands blood, and lots of it.
Feed me! Does it have to be mine? Feed me! Where am I supposed to get it?
Feed me, Seymour.
Through a rockin' villain song, the plant motivates Seymour to feed him by killing people. Although the promises of fame, fortune, and love tempt Seymour, he still has reservations about committing murder. That is, until he sets his eyes on a cocky dentist.
Feed me, Seymour. I can grow up big and strong.
You eat blood, Audrey 2, let's face it. How am I supposed to keep on feeding you? Kill people?
I make it worth your while.
What?
While Seymour continues to feed the plant, he eventually sees Audrey 2 for what he really is during the Oscar-nominated number, Mean Green Mother from Outer Space.
It's gotta end. It's gotta stop right here.
Better wait a minute. You better hold the phone. Better mind your manners. Better change your tone.
Number 3. I Put a Spell on You. Hocus Pocus.
They're right over there.
Curses and music go hand in hand for the Sanderson sisters. To lure Salem's little children, Sarah Sanderson sings a hypnotic tune with the essence of a lullaby. Of course, the most enchanting musical number in the movie has gotta be the witch's rendition of I Put a Spell on You. Winifred, Mary, and Sarah put an upbeat spin on this rock and roll classic.
I put a spell on you, and now you're gone.
With Bette Midler providing lead vocals, the sisters cast a spell on the adults of Salem, not to mention the home viewing audience. If you want people to dance until they die, we cannot think of a catchier tune to aspire to. Number 2. Magic Dance. Labyrinth.
What kind of magic spell to use?
The audience is supposed to root against the bad guy, but that proves exceedingly difficult when a villain is this much fun. It's impossible not to like Jareth the Goblin King, played by the invaluable David Bowie. In addition to starring, Bowie wrote and recorded multiple original songs for Labyrinth. The standout is easily the show-stopping Magic Dance.
Dance, Dance, magic dance. Dance, magic dance.
As little baby Toby breaks out in tears, Jareth and his minions perform a number that's guaranteed to put a smile on anyone's face. Toe-tapping, energetic, and, of course, magical, we could dance all night to this song. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Sweet Transvestite, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
Dr. Frankenfurter is another villain the audience can't help but love. In this uproarious number, we're introduced to the sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. Like the rest of the film, the song is bizarre, random, and overflowing with uncomfortable sexual tension.
Well, you got caught with a flat world. How about that?
If you're in the mood for something totally off the wall, however, you are bound to have a good time. What's more, Tim Curry kills it with this scene, lighting up the silver screen with his charisma, comedic timing, and unusual brand of sexuality. Whenever an audience watches the Rocky Horror Picture Show, they always await this song with great anticipation.
So I'll remove the cause, but not the symptom.
What's your favorite villain song? Let us know in the comments.
Let's show them how to do it, my dears. Just a game, Oliver, just a game.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.